Hello everyone, I'm going to tell you about my big data and IoT implementation experience. But just before I start, let me ask you a simple question. While your RTG is running with the driver in the cabin, how much percentage of RTG idle time, so no joystick or machine movement at all, do you think you have as an average in your RTG terminals? Please use the poll tool to answer me. First, I'm going to tell you a bit more about myself. I am the Innovation and Development Senior Manager of Terminal Link. Terminal Link is a joint venture between CMA CGM Group and China Merchants Port Holding. Terminal Link operates 21 terminals today, soon 23, representing about 25 million TEUs of throughput. Besides that, we are also a very active member of TIC 4.0, which stands for Terminal Industry Committee 4.0. TIC 4.0 is an association we have created last year to promote and elaborate the definition of standards for our industry. And besides that, we are partners of a European project called iTerminals 4.0. The objective of this project is to put into practice the standards we are defining in TIC 4.0 and to demonstrate the profitability of the digitalization of the port industry. Big data and Internet of Things are technology that have been around for a while. To implement these technologies, we use virtual objects as the digital representation of any device, equipment, and process that form part of a container terminal, and digital platforms which allows you to collect millions of daily data registers that are generated by the different virtual objects. Thanks to these new tools, we are able to improve two fundamental solutions. The first one, continuous improvement. Of course, today, every terminal has a practice of continuous improvement. However, it is based on a very limited data set. The second benefit is process automation, because once you have digitized everything in your terminal, you are able to operate a much smoother transition towards automation in your terminal. Now, I'm going to show you a practical application of big data and IoT in a container terminal environment. There are three levels of data. The first level in the first column is raw data. IoT could collect an unlimited amount of data from the machines. In our case, the most relevant signals are collected every second. The big data tools can manage, aggregate, and represent this huge amount of information in a very simple way. We can group the data per time, per device, per time and device, per sensor, all that just in real time. We can also aggregate all of them in real time as well. The second level, which is in the second column in the middle, is the move data. The basic unit of our business is the move. So the minimum representation of any KPI for our business should be by move. We use the raw data to create hundreds of KPIs per move, adding also lots of metadata to link different move registers such as machine, driver, vessel, visit, container number, etc. And the third level of data is high-level global KPIs. The granular per move KPI allow us to aggregate the information in any way, but not only. The relations between them, thanks to the added metadata, led us to create new high-level KPIs such as the global efficiency measurement of the terminal or the bottleneck efficiency that otherwise would be impossible to calculate. The most exciting of all these powerful tools is that allow us to see a huge amount of data in real time. It can be a few minutes aggregation, like near real time, to days, weeks, months, or years, all in the same tool. And most importantly, all the actualization can be represented in the same dashboard in real time. So any update in the information, even the last recent data, will be represented in any kind of visualization. In fact, all these concepts and features are a reality at our flagship Malta Freeport terminal. Thanks to the IoT technology, we have real-time data every second from almost all the equipment of the terminal. And all the data is then stored without limit thanks to the big data technology on our digital platform. Now, the raw data is very easily accessible. In fact, it is much easily accessible than on a classical database. Move data, status, spreader, hoist, trolley, engine, timers, hundreds of timers, power, energy, almost any single interested value is available. The business intelligence tool allows us to represent the raw data in a graphical friendly way across time and or packet per any metadata. You can think of working, driver, idle status, any timer, circumconsumption status, and any counter, such as move, boxes, cycle costs, of course. The dashboards regroup all these visualizations on one page so you can see all these data together, harmonized and synchronized in real time. Now the data is available and ready to be used for any service, such as cloud TOS that you can deploy at a minimum cost, or any smart plugin can then also be deployed in a minimal time and effort. So you can plug any service. But if the technology is available, why don't we have this implemented in every terminal yet? Well, the translation of the reality into numbers is not so easy. All the devices must speak exactly the same language, and the reality itself is so complex that you need a very complex and sophisticated language to represent it. The idea is simple. Humans and virtual objects need to speak a language that they both understand. A language as complex and complete than the human language, but that can be at the same time understood by the humans and the machines, that must strictly define the value it represents without any ambiguity. And this is the job we are doing at our TIC 4.0 association. Of course, I invite you to join us. We are using two kinds of registers. The instantaneous register that represents a snapshot of the reality, and the closed register that represents a reality during a period of time. Today, the instantaneous register has more than 200 attributes, and very soon it will be more than 400. The closed register has more than 500, and very soon it will be more than 1,000. It's growing really fast. The reality requires a lot of data to be represented properly. This adds a lot of complexity to the end user if you really want to translate all the reality in a digital format. To monitor a terminal, you need a lot of IoT devices that each will send millions of messages with hundreds of data attributes per message every second in our case. A very powerful platform is therefore required to process all this data in real time. The only way to compute such huge amount of information is with multiple nodes, meaning computers working together. Even when all the information is already processed, achieving a human-friendly representation of all this huge amount of data is really a challenge for most people. Every single dashboard not only represents simple KPIs, but also grouped KPIs, such as per concept, machine, driver, vessel, etc. Also tendencies, statistics, heat maps, rankings. This gives you the visibility of the concept across the equipment operations, time and place. But at the same time, it requires another level of understanding than we are used to. So, IoT and big data are key elements to improve efficiency, but not only. Today, big data is not able to investigate root causes of the problems or to apply corrective actions to the root causes. At this stage, human intervention is still required to evaluate and resolve problems, and especially if we are talking about complex problems. So, big data makes especially sense for the resolution of complex problems, because complex problems usually have complex root causes with a lot of dependencies to other factors, which the human cannot mitigate. In conclusion, the reality is complex, and for a human look at the reality through numbers is even more difficult. As humans, we are limited. We have just passed the singularity where the data power has overpassed our intellectual level. The percentage of people that cannot understand big data today is quite high. It is obvious that big data technology is not a plug-and-play software, though most of the people would think so. As the language is new, the perspective and point of view of the reality is completely new for most of the users. Managers in the container business will have to learn how to read and write in a completely new language in order to take full advantage of these new tools. As humans, we are so proud of ourselves that we really think we are better than any machine database, algorithm, or program. But it is not the case anymore. Big data knows more of you than you know yourself. So anyone with access to the data and able to interpret the data will have more knowledge than yourself. That means that not anymore the control of the information will be under one person, but could be accessible to everybody from low levels to board of directors. The control of information is power. So some managers will lose their power because it is only based on the information they have and not on the added value. This is really scary for a lot of powerful people and creates resistance. Data is not the solution. It's just a tool. It is just a tool. The only direct benefit of big data is the pressure it creates over everybody, that they know there is data that registers and measures everything they do or they perform. Because when we feel we are observed, we try to do our best. But to get other benefits, we need to take actions, and big data itself is not going to resolve the problems or take decisions for us. So, in conclusion, the questions are are we going to be able to transform our industry with all the difficulties it faces and all the resistance we are going to encounter? Is it all really worth the effort and investment? Well, the answer is it is up to you. But if your competitors make use of these new tools and you don't, then the question is, will you remain competitive? Thank you very much. I will be happy to take questions that you can send me through the chat.
Thank you, Kuro. Very exciting presentation.
Indeed.
Before we take question, let's look at what you, the audience, voted in the poll. So Kuro asked you about your idling time. How much idle time do you think your RTGs are doing in your yard? And most of you, 45%, voted for more than 50%. And second most popular option was 30 to 40%. So what do you think about that, Kuro?
Well, this is even new for me, because when I used to do this type of question, most of the people always answer between 60 and 70% of the time is working, and the idle time is really low.
Yeah.
Indeed, it's true. The idle time is very, very high, higher than 50% in most of the terminals around the world, because our perception of the reality, our subject perception, is quite different to the real perception that you have if you have data. But yes, you see there is an important group that thinks that the machines are all the time working, and indeed, you have a surprise when you read the data.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kuro, for that. I think we all have a lot to learn from your experiences and the journey that you have went through in Malta. And a question related to that kind of, what would you say that during the nightless nights that you have done the development in Malta, what were the biggest surprises and kind of both positive and negative that you found out?
Well, the positive is that really the technology for big data is ready. Okay, although it is not yet a mainstream, it works, and it is a powerful tool. That is really a surprise. You don't think that it's going to work, but it works. But on the contrary, the main challenger is the people, meaning the port community people, not someone concrete. Most of the people in the port business don't have a mathematical engineering background, because it is not a profile that was required in our sector until today. Then when you show the second per second data, besides per move, per hour, usually all mixed with a lot of KPIs to describe the reality, most of the people are not able to use it to transform or improve his job. So the trip didn't end there.
Very good, Kuro. I can maybe already guess your answer, but if you had to summarize the whole experience to only one tip, what would that be?
Well, as we really need this to improve in our business, and we need this tool, it's clear that we have to amend the main problem. So we need to train our people in the art of the analytics, or as an alternative, create new positions in the continuous improvement department or equivalent, that is the famous data scientist. We really need it. I have the feeling that we are again in the years 80s, when we migrate from the time machine to the personal computer. We are right there again. So for sure, we will transform our people, our culture in the new era of data, but it will take some time. And meanwhile, we need solutions, or external solution, external data science, external consulting and help from all our providers, or internal. But in any case, we need it.
Thanks, Kurt. That's very clear. So kind of the key to success is the people.
Yeah, nobody is going to take the decisions for you.
Yeah, that's clear. That was all of the questions for now that we had from the audience. Thanks a lot, Kuru.
Okay.
Thank you, Kuru.